Seems like the game has really kept you guys connected.
All right. So good to see you. Come on. It's been a while since we've done this.
This game has given us a reason to be in each other's lives.
I think your dad would have really wanted you to be dead.
Get up! I'm gonna keep on trying.
Eat my
dick. Balls.
But ice cream.
What?
He knows I'm lactose intolerant. He's taunting me.
Don't you know I'm gonna make it with my darling?
Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is my review of Tag. Surprisingly enough, this film was inspired by a real-life event where there's a group of friends who have been playing the game of Tag, the same game of Tag, for the last like 20-some years, I think. And it's just a very odd story and something which you don't really hear about that terribly often, but this film is based on that. It kind of plays on it a bit more than I would think. But let's talk about this thing, find out if it is worth getting tagged for this film, or if this is just a game which didn't need to be made into a movie of sorts. Let's find out. Now this film has a huge list of actors who are kind of more A-list, B-list actors. We have Jake Johnson, Jeremy Renner, Ed Helms, John Hamm, Hannibal Buress, Isla Fisher, Annabelle Willis. There's just a big cast of characters in this movie, and they all have very good chemistry with one another, especially the five main guys of this film. They all just really seem to flow really well together. They just had really fun chemistry on screen, and their comedy just really bounced off each other really, really well. I also gotta give props to Jeremy Renner in this film. He is easily the standout, I think, especially during kind of the slow-mo scenes where he's just trying to avoid getting tagged by these guys. We get to go inside his head and just see how he's calculating their moves, and he just knows these people so well that he's able to just reflexively just fend them off without getting tagged by them. And it's just a really, really cool thing to see. And it just worked really well to see just how badass this character is. It is a comedy, and so I felt like this film had a lot of really funny sequences as well. I was laughing in my seat quite often, and so that's always a good thing with a comedy. I did feel like the ending, though, was a little bit odd. It seemed like it just had a very different tone from the rest of the film. I won't go into it, obviously, but just the way that it ended, it just seemed kind of off compared to the rest of the film, which I really, really ended up enjoying. Just the ending seemed weird to me. I also felt like there were some very unrealistic situations which played out throughout this film. I know it's a film and it can be kind of more unrealistic than you would expect, but since this is inspired by main events or true events, I'd figure it would be a little more calm or tame, I guess, and not just have like three guys chasing this guy in golf carts, or chasing Jeremy Renner in golf carts, and once they're in the woods, Jeremy Renner's just springing all these traps on them. It just seemed very unrealistic for something based in reality. It didn't necessarily ruin the film for me. There were some funny sequences, but just thinking back on the film afterwards, they were just things which just didn't necessarily seem to fit just in the realistic biopic-y sense that this was trying to do. I won't go into details as to when this occurs or how it occurs or anything of that sort, in case you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know, but there is a miscarriage joke which seems to kind of carry on far too long for me personally, and just didn't really seem necessary for the most part. It just seemed very tasteless for me. If a joke is used to a really good effect, then whatever, but it just didn't really seem all that necessary, and I was just kind of annoyed that it just kept coming up over and over and over, and people were just kind of making light of the situation when it's a very serious and very emotional, traumatic thing for a lot of people. It's just not really something that I think you should joke about, at least in a movie, especially not in the correct context, which I don't think this film had. Annabelle Willis is in this film. She plays this newspaper reporter who originally is going to interview John Hamm, who's this head of or CEO of this company, and she's going to interview him for an article, and he gets interrupted by Ed Helms. This is all in the beginning of the movie, and she ends up following them along on this tag adventure as they're trying to tag Jeremy Renner. She just felt very wasted and just kind of more in the background for the most part, and for a large majority of the film, honestly. And so I would have liked to see her get a little bit more involved than she ended up being throughout the film. She was just kind of there. and didn't really have an essential role for the plot. She could have been gone completely and it wouldn't have really changed anything. And while this isn't really a true biopic, or at least not one in the general sense that you would think of, it is still based on a true story. And so at the end of the film, they do show the video footage of the guys trying, the actual guys who played the game in real life, just trying to tag each other in outrageous ways. You can see some scenes from the movie were inspired by what they did, and it was just kind of a cool thing to see. It's like, oh, this is actually a real thing, and just seeing how far these guys ended up going while still staying in the realm of realism and not going to kind of the higher comedic points that this film did. It's just kind of cool to see that and just see the whole group of people together and just see how that all kind of came about and see that they're still doing it even at a very old age at some point. And so, guys, I thought that Tag was a fun time. It's not going to win any awards. It's not going to be in my top 10 of the year probably, but I thought it was a fun time. I had a fun time with it. I thought the cast just did a really good job tying this film together, having really good chemistry with each other, and just making this idea of trying to tag this one person who's untaggable per se just a really fun plot to play out. But those are my thoughts on Tag. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. Another just heads up, I am also doing written reviews for video games at the moment. Link for that is in the description down below. Check it out if you are curious or interested. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.